Hey, it's Mark Ferguson with Investor More, and I'm standing outside rental property number 12. This is one I bought back in 2015 for $127,000. We recently had the tenants move out, and then we decided to fix it up a little bit and sell it. So we'll talk about all of that. We'll talk about the tenants, the rent, the repairs we had to do, and it's got a few design choices in it right now I'm not super excited about, and those are my fault. So usually Nikki picks all her colors and does our design work, and for some reason she let me pick the kitchen cabinet colors. So we'll see what those look, and you can tell me how great or horrible they look. And then also we have another rental property that just became vacant, so we'll be showing that here soon too. And then I have another decision of, do I keep it, rent it out again, or do I sell it? Because my plan so far has been to sell some of my residential properties that have really high values, and then take that money and put them into commercial properties which have much better cash flow. So we'll talk about all of that. Now, of course, check out investormore.com for much more information on my flips, rentals, being an agent, all of that great stuff. And I've got a free book on there as well. It talks about how I got started and built up I think I have like $8 million in equity in real estate right now, which is kind of crazy, starting from almost nothing 10 years ago. So real estate has been pretty amazing for me. But this property here, like I said, we bought it for $127,000 back in 2015. I believe this was a foreclosure when I bought it. I can't remember for sure, but it doesn't look a whole lot different now than what it did before. And I'll link to the before videos as well. I'll also link to the video that shows what it looks like after the tenants moved out, because those particular tenants were here a few years, and it wasn't in horrible shape, but they did leave a lot of trash, some animal poop in the basement, things like that. So we came through and repainted everything, put in new carpet, and changed some of the kitchen around with the cabinets, did really minor touch up, and then we decided to put it back on the market. But these doors were here. We'd already done the windows when we bought it. Quite a bit of that work had been done back in 2015 when I first purchased it and did a rehab. This tile was here the whole time, so that's kind of why we kept it in this design. Normally we would not do something like that, but it was already like that when we bought the property. And this bathroom right here is huge. It did not come like this stock, so this house definitely had some modifications. Before I bought it, it had this really big bathroom and had a really huge door on that bedroom. We'll show you here soon. And that was so it would be handicap accessible. And you also saw the ramp out front, of course, which is for handicap accessibility as well. And I'd asked that question before about, hey, should we keep the ramp? Should we get rid of it? And a lot of people said, it's really hard to find handicap accessible properties. You really should keep it just in case someone wants it. They're not that hard to take out, but they're really, really hard to put in. So we did keep the ramp, replaced a few rotten pieces of wood, and painted that. This property is a 2-bedroom, 1-bath up, and a 2-bedroom, 1-bath down, kind of. We'll show you why I say kind of. And a lot of the houses in the neighborhood are bigger and have more bathrooms, more bedrooms, but we're still in the crazy market where things are selling very, very quickly. You can see that extra wide door there that was probably for handicap accessible, but the thing that doesn't make sense is, oh no, it's not locked, right? You've got steps to go out. So I don't know how that worked, but this door was obviously added extra at one point as well. So with the market, I'm gonna wait to show you the kitchen. With the market being where it is and being very hot, this house is probably worth in the 360 to 370 range when I bought it for 127. And when I first bought it, it was probably worth about 170, 180 after putting 15 to 20,000 into it. So I definitely got a really good deal, but prices have definitely increased a ton since I bought it as well. All right, so now I'm gonna show you the kitchen, which is where I might have messed up, and you guys can tell me. Ta-da! So our dilemma was, the cabinets were okay, they're in decent shape. We definitely wanted to paint them, but we had this countertop and this backsplash and this floor that was not easy to match. And in hindsight, maybe we should have just gone with something basic like white, but instead we had the bright idea of trying to come up with a cool color that would match everything. And it's okay, but it's not our best design choice, I don't think. So let me know what you think. Love to hear your comments on this kitchen. We wanted to leave the counter in the backsplash just because that can cost a whole lot of money once you start tearing that up, redoing all that. Then you mess up the cabinets, you mess up the wall, and just brings a whole lot into it. So we decided to leave those and try and match the cabinets. So I don't know about that color, but we'll see what happens. Like I said, we're in a super hot market, so that will help us out as far as that goes. Over the years, you can see the yard is not amazing. Like I said, these tenants were okay, but they did leave quite a bit of trash in the house. Had animals, cats, which they weren't supposed to have, animals that pooped in the basement, which obviously isn't good, but luckily it was tile and didn't do much damage. But they also didn't keep the yard amazing. And then it has a sprinkler system, but it wasn't working right. We needed to make some repairs, so that's why we had this sprinkler out here. But we did get the sprinkler system working, so now that's doing better. And then something else I missed before, that's where our AC goes. So I don't know if the tenants took it or someone stole it along the way, but our AC is gone. So yeah, it definitely used to have AC, but I looked back in my video after the tenants first moved out and it was gone then. So at some point while the tenants were here, the AC disappeared or right afterwards. And we did also paint the exterior of the house. It was kind of I think it's a greenish, bluish, like blue with different colors of blue trim. And so we painted it. Looks way better now. Trimmed a bunch of the trees back here. Looks way better now. And the yard is looking better too. It was almost completely dead and it's starting to come back a little bit as well. So the tenants were here. I think they're paying $1,600 a month. When I first bought it for $127,000, I put maybe $15,000 of work into it, maybe a little more. Things were so much cheaper back then than they are now. And I think we rented it for $1,400 a month at that point. So it's so much better rent to value ratio back then than there is now. You know, now, like I said, this property is worth $370, even very conservatively $350, and it might rent for $1,800, maybe $1,900. So the rent to value ratios are much worse, but interest rates are also much lower, which makes it cheaper to own rentals, but still not nearly as good of deals as we had before. So the basement, as you can see, is mostly tile. That's how it was when I bought it too. We didn't change that out, and it's worked out fine, and we're not planning to change it out now. You rarely see this much tile in Colorado just because, you know, it's colder. Winter it gets colder, your basement's cooler, the upstairs is cooler, and people don't really like tile everywhere. Sometimes you see it in the kitchen, bathrooms, maybe the dining room, but you don't see it like you see it in Florida or California where there's tile everywhere. Just because, yeah, a lot of people like carpet a little warmer on your feet in the winter, and especially in the bedrooms and basement. But we have it here. It's not the worst thing in the world, but I definitely don't put tile in our flips or rentals when we're fixing them up. So this is obviously a bedroom with an egress window. Has a closet right there. That room back here is kind of like a family room, but we have a door, we have a closet, so we can count it as a bedroom. And it was finished way before I ever bought it, and so we can say the window was grandfathered in. So we can call it a 4-bedroom, 2-bath property. We have this bathroom here too, which is also a little weird. I'll show you. The countertop over the toilet. The toilet sticks way out, and they had the countertop over it like that. So we did paint the counter and clean it up, but still, yeah, looks a little strange. And then always a few things left to do before we sell them. Like, I guess this drain was backing up, and that's why it's so ugly. So we're gonna have Roto-Rooter come over here, rooter the drain, hopefully get that all working and fixed, and make sure it's okay for the. And back here, another little kind of office utility room. It has a closet too, right here. I know people like to see the closets, but they're not that exciting. There you go. Oh, there's our main water. No, maybe that's not our main water shut off. Anyway, I think our main water shut off is under that cabinet right here. We can't call this a bedroom because the only access to our utility room is through it. So we've got our furnace, water heater in here, your laundry's in here. So you can't go through a bedroom to access all of these. The bedroom would have to be completely separate from those, so that's why we can't call it that. Now we did come in here, painted the floors. I'm just looking at the walls, thinking we probably should have painted the walls too, but the floor looks way better, I'll say that. And so we're really close to getting this ready to sell. There's a few things we have to decide. One, are we gonna stage it? So, Nikki's been staging a lot of our properties. We've had a lot of properties selling. We sold 4 flips in July, another one selling in August. We'll have a couple more ready to go. We sold another rental in July. We're gonna be listing another rental here pretty soon, probably. So a lot of things going on. So she can't stage everything. So we've had another company that stages some of the stuff. But our question is, should we stage it? Do we need to stage it? Will that make the kitchen look better? Or do we not need to stage it in this crazy hot market? And then there's a little bit of outside stuff we want to do, like the juniper bushes out front. I don't know if you saw those, were pretty gnarly looking, so we might want to trim those up. And that kitchen, I think it's okay, but that'd be something. Do we need to do something to that kitchen to make it look better, or are we okay leaving it as is? And the garage needs cleaned up just a little bit too. It's a little dingy, dark, random screen door sitting here. And this, if you're wondering what this is, that's a radon mitigation system. So we do have lots of radon in Colorado. It's a gas from the ground that comes into the basements in a lot of properties. It's been shown to cause cancer. So when you're selling a property, a lot of times the inspectors will do a radon test. If it comes back at 4 parts per million or something, I don't know what the exact measurement is. I just know it's 4 or higher, then you're supposed to get a radon mitigation system to help exhaust that gas out of your basement, so it makes the house safer, if you're wondering what that is. That costs us about $800 to $1,200 usually to install those, so not crazy expensive, but we do have to do it quite a bit here. All right, so that is the house. Rental property number 12, bought for $127, probably selling in the $370 range, I know, kind of crazy. And then we're gonna take that money and probably do a 1031 exchange into another commercial property. And I have a couple commercial properties in mind, but no set deals yet to do that into. I've been talking with the sellers, and we did end up doing a 1031 exchange with rental property number 7, which I just sold recently, which I'll try to link to below too. I wasn't gonna do one, but then I found a commercial property, and if I can do everything right, I would love to sell this one, do a 1031 exchange, and then use a 1031 exchange from rental property number 7, combine the two, which you can do, to use the money to buy this new commercial property, which would be in the $800,000 plus range, and that would be awesome. So we're just trying to get that deal put together with the seller. It'll be a really cool property too, so hopefully that will happen. I can show you that property, but obviously we're still working on a few things to get it under contract and get that deal done. And yes, you can exchange residential property into commercial property into residential property, land into a building. There's all kinds of different things you can do with a 1031 exchange. So while it has to be a like kind exchange, that doesn't mean residential to residential or commercial to commercial. Usually almost any type of real estate can be exchanged into any other type of real estate, but of course check with an accountant for specific laws and cases, and I'm not an accountant. Do not use my advice for specific cases you may have. Oh, and something other really strange. The neighbors built a fence on the outside of our fence. So, well, I'm leaving you. And of course, check out investormore.com for much more information on our flips, rentals, being an agent, all that great stuff, wholesaling, free books. Amazon has lots of books too. I want to show you. They never talked to us or asked us anything. They just built a fence right on the outside of this fence. And this fence is kind of ugly, but it's in really good shape. It just kind of needs stained. So that was a little strange to see that happen. But sometimes you see strange things in real estate. All right, thanks for watching. We'll be back soon.